Yeah, I mean, obviously, repave is always different, and when you go from probably the most extreme wore out surface to brand new is probably the most different you're gonna ever see with a repave. Um, so anytime you ever repave it, it takes a while to kind of burn the track in, which the trucks helped that a lot yesterday. It seemed like so we were able to fire off today with a track that was testable, right? Like you can actually learn some things, which was good. Um, you know. Obviously, anytime there's a repave, wherever the cars are running is going to be the fast lane. And when you get out of that, it's going to be ice until you get cars running too wide out there and you get the races going here. I expect it to widen out a little bit and help that part of it. And went through a few tires today. Honestly, it feels like the controls are probably the most fall off in a run. So it's probably the direction that the majority is pushing. I think at this point we'll probably make some verification longer runs tomorrow, but so far everything seems like it's going as planned. They did a good job. There's still some character. It's still a unique shaped racetrack, which is all good. There's a pretty big bump down into turn one. I think where the wall was out too long and they cut it, and it's kind of a interesting area. And there's a huge bump leaving four, which really kind of upsets the cars. I don't think that's bad. I'm okay with it. That's something that made this racetrack so cool in the past is that it had a lot of character. It's bumpy. You're forced to move around them because it was challenging. You make the thing like glass. I don't know if that really makes racing better. So I think the fact that it's got a couple bumps and some areas where drivers can make mistakes and jump out of the groove and do different things, it's just going to promote passing. That's a good thing. This place is cool. I remember coming here, I guess it was 5 or 6 years ago when it was shut down, and we shot a couple videos here, and it was ghost town. Right? It was graffiti everywhere. There was, everything, weeds growing through the racetrack. It was crazy. It was like the world ended, and no one's been here since the last race. You walked in the infield care center, which I think is right next door, and there's downstairs.
No, it was right here.
It was right here. There were stretchers in here still. I was like, it was kind of creepy, but it's kind of crazy to see all that. And what Marcus and SMI have done, I think, to restore the racetrack, but keep the feel, they did a tremendous job. I know they had to repave. I think every driver doesn't ever want to see a repave, but it's coming apart. You got to do something. We patched it. We got through last year. I don't think you can get lucky that many times before you just got to bite the bullet and do it. But I do think when you come up here, it's just it's a different vibe than any other racetrack you go to. When you pull up to it, it's just cool, and where you're at, you're in the mountains, man. It's just it's a unique facility, and I think last year the fans showed up and appreciated it and thought it was really cool, and I would expect this year you're probably going to have a similar crowd, and hopefully we're able to deliver again and keep that hype.
We started out pretty far off. In the beginning, we just needed to work on the balance and grip of our car, and I felt like the track probably was coming in as well, even though the trucks were out there. The different rubber that we have probably took a little bit to transition for our cars, and then just started doing those tire runs and felt pretty good about our car. I thought we made some improvements through probably the middle of the day, 11:30 to 1, and then just kind of stuck with that and made a lot of progress through the afternoon. So I thought it was probably one of our best test days of just progress and being able to just get to a spot where I felt like we were a lot better than where we started. So hopefully that continues for us on the short tracks. It doesn't personally for me, but I think there's a lot of people that I know that it does. Like a lot of people I talk to that are friends of mine or grew up around Charlotte and things like that. So for me in particular, I just drove by it, going to ski when I was younger, going up to Boone or things like that. But I hadn't I don't know if I was even born when the previous races were here, so it didn't really catch my eye. But places like Charlotte and Darlington were more on my list. I would say that if it was a 1.5-mile track, but I think it being a short track, it'll probably be a lot like Richmond was when they repaved it. And so I vividly have seen some of those races, and I feel like it was pretty treacherous. A lot of guys would, get in crashes, or there'd be a lot of restart wrecks. So I think the racing could actually be pretty exciting with a repave on a short track. But yeah, it won't have the style of like comers and goers, I don't think. I think it'll be the guys who are up towards the front will be racing hard, and there's probably just going to be more wrecks. Yeah, I mean, I'll be here. I'm excited. I'm excited that we're in the race. You never take that for granted, right? Like you have to win to be in this race, and you never, as a driver, that's one of the first things that comes to mind when you win the first race of the year is great. I'm in the All-Star race. So it's an honor to be in the race, and something you want to win. It's not a crown jewel, but it's a big race to have on your resume.
Yeah, track's definitely, a lot different with the repave, but I feel like they did a really great job for the repave. I've been to a lot of repaves, and this is probably, one of the best ones I've been to. And the way they did it, they did a really great job. So just normal stuff for when we first come in here with the new repaves. It's kind of one lane groove till it gets worn in. So testing, it's really hard to get a good race feel for it, but I know that it's gonna be it should be pretty cool, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's really cool. Of course, I wasn't really alive when this place was rolling steam, so it's cool to come back and check it out. I came here probably 2017 when it didn't have anything going on. So to see how much they've progressed is really cool. They did a great job with this track. It's cool to be racing here. I really respect it, and it's cool. Yeah, it's just gonna make the restarts and the way that's going to last longer double file, right? Because last year we're just locked into that one groove, and we kind of saw that unless you had tires on, and then could make it happen. But this should definitely make it more of a 2-wide show for a little bit longer. But I think it's still going to get it's going to get single file at some point.